Okay, so something very different I want to talk about today, and I want to discuss it on this Toyota 4Runner. Maybe it'll be some help to y'all out there. This is definitely way away from what I normally mess with, but this was a fill-in job. Again, I'm calling a late model job fill-in work. This is what pays the bills, basically. I'm basically in between waiting on that one to get picked up to go home for a little while, and was waiting on a few parts to come in for this one, so I just jumped on this. Basically what this was a '01 Toyota 4Runner, and I didn't take any before pictures of it, but it was faded. The paint was corrupted on the hood and the roof. So my front end guy does my front end work on my cars. This is a lady's car. He does work for her too, and she wanted it painted. So basically I want to tell you what I did, why I did it the way I done it, and maybe it could be assistance to you in the future. And I'm going to go over what this actually cost and what I charged, basically. Okay, so of course this is a 300,000 mile vehicle, but she bought it new. So you can't, perfection is not the goal here. Basically, what I did is put it back in pretty close to like new condition. The paint is straight out of the paint gun. You'll see some nibs here. I may very well sand a few of these out. I did get one run here. I'll take care of that before it goes home tomorrow. But I wanted to go ahead and do this video so I didn't forget. I have this tape on here because I'm going to spray some Krylon up into wheel wells here and cover up some of my overspray. And basically that's what you want to do on stuff like this. I took my time, did a real nice job of taping out these window moldings. Not a real fan of painting around stuff like this, but I did a good job and you can barely tell. Now, if you don't want hard paint edges, what you're gonna have to do is when you get done spraying, while the paint is still wet and basically while the fumes are evacuating, peel any tape that's laying against paint. And again, I'm going against what I preach about the classic cars, about making sure you're not painting against moldings and all that stuff. But on stuff like this, you know, could you imagine the expense to move all these rubbers and to pull all these windows out? It's just, we're not restoring this thing. We're just giving it a facelift. So you want to pull the tape while the paint's still wet. That allows you not to have any hard edges, and that reduces the chances of peeling and cracking. Also, a very, very important thing on these late model vehicles is the use of a good adhesion promoter. Now this just so happens to be Bulldog. Some of the paint store brands work just as well. This tends to spray pretty good, so I like that. You can also buy that to put in your paint gun. And if you've bypassed the recoat window, you can also use it to extend the recoat window and put your clear on the base. Now, of course, all this stuff here is plastic. So what I like to do is make sure you got a good adhesion promoter down before you put any primer down. You can also use adhesion promoter in between steps if you want to. On this car, I believe I did. I used adhesion promoter in between for the sealer and again from to the base and the clear. Another thing that these late model cars are notorious about is this plastic stuff that fades and looks like it's gray. I don't know how dark this stuff was when it was new. I really didn't care. But what I used is this TranStar trim black, satin finish. You also can use this on interiors in the older cars, the dye parts, consoles, dashes, pads, door panels, that type of thing. It's a satin finish. It looks really good. I use that on all my black interior parts on personal and customer cars. Either that or SIM. SIM dye works very well inside the car. SIM, not so much made for this type of stuff, so I stick to this stuff because it does have a UV protection. Again, go back to use a good adhesion promoter before you spray it, and not just spray it, but scuff it with a Scotch-Brite. A light scuff with a Scotch-Brite, clean well with wax and grease remover, then the adhesion promoter, then the trim black. And of course you'll have to mask everything off. I spent probably an hour, hour and a half today off and on masking just to do these trims. So we have the rocker panels painted. Another thing I wanted to mention on this thing was I used the heavy texture chip guard. And basically the factory had some decals here that really messed up the finish, even in the plastic, scraping it off. So I filled in the gouges and just sprayed it with chip guard, which is kind of what the factory used along the bottom of these anyway. And put some chip guard here. I also chip guarded all around on the inside of the wheel wells. So I figured that was a nice touch on an SUV. Stay away from that stuff on the old cars. Okay, these headlights are in pretty good shape, but if you got a late model car, cut and buff headlights, make them look like brand new. Little detail stuff, like I sprayed that black. I took the roof rack off, of course, to paint the vehicle, but also painted the roof rack. Of course, there was a mess of taping to be done. There goes a piece of paper there inside to keep overspray out of the car. So be mindful of that. Same thing back here. I detailed, painted all this black. Same procedure here. I actually raised this up and painted the entire thing. So took the license plate off, touched this up. I mean, got a little overspray still to scrape off. Before she picks it up tomorrow, I'm gonna wash it, clean it up, clean the wheels and tires, do the wheel wells. Then it'll be ready to go. Now, I had less than, I want to say around about what I got for the jobs, about how many hours I had into it. I did not write it down, so I can't say for sure. I will say this, I charged $17.50 to do this job. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I used Imperium base coat. I basically had $2K left over as a sealer from these restoration jobs I was able to use, and I was able to use leftover clear from a restoration job. Now, even though I didn't have particularly my pocket money in that paint, it's still not free. So you have to figure all that in, and I figured to do this vehicle was about $750 in materials. That's what I calculated it at. Base clear, sealer, paper, tape, all that bulldog. I mean, heck, this stuff here is like 20 something bucks a can. This here's about $30 a can. I mean, they don't give this stuff away anymore. Never have, but especially now. So, you know, mirrors, all that, adhesion promoter. But that's what I did. Maybe this will be assistance to you. If I did this again, if I do fill-in jobs, I want to make a little more than I would normally be charging on my hourly rate. So this would probably, I feel like this here is probably worth $2,500 to the right person. But again, more or less, it was guy sends me. I sent him all my front end work, and I just needed something to do this week, so I did it and come out. I feel like I come out okay on it, and the vehicle turned out good. I was interested in it, what I was doing. If it's a vehicle that I feel like it's just too complicated, I'm not going to do it. But this, I felt like I could tackle it. One more mention, just be real careful taping around all these edges. But anyway, that's all. I just wanted to show you this 2001 Toyota 4Runner, a little something different here on the channel, but don't worry, I'm not getting off on doing this very regularly. I have plenty of restoration work to do, and I'll only do something like this if I can fit it in a short window. This was dropped off Saturday. Here we are on Wednesday. It'll be picked up in 5 days. This car has had a whole facelift. So get them in, get them out, because this is a daily driver for that lady. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention is, while I was painting the 4Runner, I also painted Jace's Corvette rally wheels the same color, and that Toyota Silver is identical to Argent Silver, Chevrolet Argent Silver. So, that's another tidbit for you. 01 Toyota, whatever paint code that was, get it out of the door here. It's the same color as Chevrolet rally wheels. Yeah, K73. So K73 Toyota Silver will get you real close to Chevy rally wheel silver. So anyway, if you got any silver laying around, just use it on your wheels. All right, folks, that's it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.